It's 7:16.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, May 6th. This is our monthly board meeting where we have received reports from village departments and standing boards and committees on their activity in the last month. We have, in addition, a massive agenda of board business, and we anticipate it's going to take a while. So, we don't have Tony in the room.
He's right here. He's coming.
Okay. There he is. Here's our fifth member. Sorry, I didn't realize you weren't in the room.
Should have done a roll call.
May I have a roll call, please, Claire?
There you go. Trustee Bartis?
Here.
Okay. Trustee Bosey?
Here.
Trustee Hall?
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Woods?
Here.
And Mayor Foley?
Oh, now we're all together again, ready to roll. A couple of announcements. The community sale scheduled for yesterday had to be delayed because the wind was wicked on the river. You do yet know the date that they've rescheduled, or we are waiting to hear from them?
There is not a set date. It might be the Clearwater is coming back for other events in July, and so it might be one of those days.
And so
But the first people who were invited who were on the waiting list or on the sign-up list on the manifest for this sale will be the first ones invited for that one.
Too stormy for schooner. Our first two wayfinding signs are up on the tunnel. The rest are in production, but check them out. They look great. I have reached out to Mary Mekalakis, the artist who did the murals in the tunnel. They were damaged in July 2023. Repairs have been done and they need to be repainted. She is aiming to get them done before Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully she can do that. And last, you can expect to see some other activity at the visitor center with plantings in the central planter between the two buildings. We have received a donation of really beautiful plants from Boscoville. They're making garden changes and they have donated some to the village. And I'm excited to see it. We have the Phillipstown Garden Club is helping, and there is a nascent group of Cold Spring Garden Club starting up again, and they'll be helping out as well. So more on that. Okay. Opportunity to add or modify agenda.
One quick
announcement. Sure, go ahead.
The Nelsonville Fishing
Fur
Club, the thing went off on Sunday. It was great.
It's packed.
Even though it was rain, it was full of people. It was like 90-something kids that signed up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Who caught the biggest fish?
I don't know who caught, but one was like a big one. The kids loved it. I mean, I had my grandson up there. It was a really, really good thing. You know, they wanted to just thank the village for providing the porta sands and the property.
Well, thank you for stocking the. So please extend to them our thanks for stocking the reservoir and pulling it all together. Okie doke. I'd like to request a couple of modifications to the agenda. One is that we left off, there are two portions of the boat club's request tonight. One is for a food truck and the other is for a fence. So I'd like to add in the fence discussion at what will be now number 10. And then I would like to add a discussion regarding tree pits, just to give an update and ask for guidance from the board. That can come after in athletics, if everyone's comfortable. And the third is I'd like to add discussion of preparation of a letter to the county regarding our Article 78 against HHFT and Fjord Trail. So that is my motion, those three additions. Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, and unless I have one thing I'd like to draw out of reports from the fire company. Does anyone else have anything in particular they want to discuss from reports? Okay, then in the interest of time, I will accept them as written. just want to call out one thing from the fire companies, two things from the fire company. The chief notes that we are prepared for the increased number of mountain calls. We have already had an increased number of mountain calls this spring. There have been 4 since March. The Marine unit will be placed at the docks at the boat club. And that is currently our only waterborne response. We no longer have local law enforcement on the river because the previous sheriff pulled that boat. So it's just our fire company, and we rely upon mutual aid. And I thought it was sweet that he said the Memorial Day Parade will serve as a reminder to appreciate all those who came before us and sacrificed so much. Memorial Day Parade is Monday. What is it, the 25th. Line up at 8, step off at 9, right at Village Hall. And the last thing is that the fire company has been awarded the Putnam County EMS Award, along with the Phillipstown Volunteer Ambulance Corps, for another mountain rescue that was, the injuries were severe, and it was a life-threatening situation. So they are being recognized for that work, and we are grateful to them and pass along those congratulations. Okay, now we'll move into board business. First item is to accept the resignation of planning board member Ben Chia, who, lucky him in this economy, his workload is growing. He has served with distinction on the board, but is unable to continue, and is resigning effective June 31st, 2026. It is with thanks and well wishes that I make a motion to accept that resignation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the second is to authorize the village clerk to post an invitation for applications to fill that vacancy.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
You, good applications. Next 2 items I will turn over to Laura.
Great. All right. So the first is to approve an agreement with CRP, the hauler, to expand our food scrap collection on Kemble Ave. So this is something that we've been doing in partnership with the town, and we have 1 pickup per week. And it's so popular that we are expanding it to 2 pickups a week at that same location. And we're transferring the contract. We had been under the town contract and paying the town. Now we're just paying directly. We'll start June 1st. It's a 2-year contract, which is good. It locks in the price. And again, we've been asked repeatedly about this. Everyone's really excited about it. It's been going really smoothly. And also thanks to Heidi Wendell, Nelsonville resident, who's been coordinating residents who can manage it. And it's in the budget for this upcoming fiscal year.
So it'll start June 1st.
It'll start June 1st. Till then, it's still 1 day a week.
What time do those pickups typically happen?
So the drop-offs are Tuesday, and then the pickup is Tuesday night, and then the new drop-off will be Thursday, and then the pickup is Friday morning.
Drop off means like a new tote, a new container?
It's like trash. They just dump out.
Okay.
the bin.
Oh, that's a pickup, picking up the trash.
It opens so volunteers open it, and they open it about 8 a.m. And people used to have to get there right away because it would fill up after a few hours. So we'll see whether we still fill it up.
And this monthly cost, is that comparable to what we were paying?
We were paying, this is a little bit of an increased cost, but it's certainly not double.
Yeah.
So it's a good, and again, it's thanks to volunteer help that the cost is.
Happy successful program. Please
Yeah.
make a motion.
Great. So I vote to approve the agreement with CRP for the food scrap recycling pickup program twice a week at Kemble Ave, June 1 to May 31st, 2028, at a cost of $340 per month.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
So, and so I'll just
Keep going.
coordinate with you and Marjorie about signing it.
Great.
Okay, next. So again, we received a grant from the Hudson River Estuary Program, a Department of Environmental Conservation program to do a flood vulnerability and climate adaptation study. So understanding like how the rainwater is coming down off the mountain and flooding in Cold Spring and sort of assessing that problem and then proposing what we can do about it. We previously voted already on a proposal from Fuss O'Neill to conduct that study. And then since then, learns that there's one component of it, this quality assurance plan, that we don't actually have to do. Like you have to do it if you're doing water quality monitoring, but to do a study, you don't have to do it. And it's very cumbersome. So we were able to take that out of Fuss O'Neill's proposal. We also have been talking with DEC about their minority women business enterprise percentage requirements that are associated with grants. And I've been talking with that office and we've come to see that especially for small grants like this, it's really hard to make the full 30% and they have encouraged us to apply for a waiver. And they see no issue also with, and they told us to proceed with contracting with Fuss O'Neill while we do the waiver process. But we're holding the leftover, the $6,300 that's extra from the QAPP to hopefully find a MWBE contractor who could do some flood education workshops here in the village, which would be really nice. Like the plan is now to do that as volunteers, but we could do that or even purchase some like flood kits or something else that would be beneficial to the village. But again, they said we don't have to wait, which is great news because we've been waiting a long time to start this project. So, so what I'm asking for is to rescind the last proposal that we signed and then accept the new one with the reduced amount.
It'd be great if we were able to do some flood preparedness training.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we have two motions
Yes.
before us.
So does that sound okay? Everyone's good? Okay, great.
Thank you for working on it, Laura. It's been
Yeah, I'm so glad that it's moving forward. So the first is
Can I
to,
just ask, sorry?
Yeah.
Removing that unnecessary activity report, it's not gonna dilute the favorability of the report for our users in any way.
it's this incredibly like bureaucratic quality assurance plan that has to go to DEC and sometimes they go to EPA and it's all about like how you're measuring and like assuring the quality of the specimens that you're collecting and like we're not collecting any specimens and so
That does apply.
it doesn't apply. So it was kind of a waste of, it was like a $6,300 hoop to jump through. So it's great that they told us that we don't have to do it. Now we can use it for something that we care about, which is really nice.
And
Yeah.
since we have folks in the room who we don't normally have, this sort of gives you a window in to how local government works. Most of our state funding and federal funding is grant driven. Process of application and competition. And we don't often win because many of the grants have socioeconomic factors and because of income in our region, we often don't qualify. We were very excited to get this grant, but it has been 3 years that we've been, 2 years.
It's been a long time.
2 years and a ton of staff time and volunteer time for $75,000, and that gets us just one step closer to the much larger flood analysis we need to do. So it's a lot. So thank you, Laura, and thank you to Marjorie for helping move forward.
So I make a motion to rescind the board's authorization to proceed with Fuss O'Neill proposal for vulnerability assessment and adaptation planning services dated December 16th, 2025. Budgeted for $79,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Great. And I vote to accept the Fuss O'Neill revised proposal for vulnerability assessment and adaptation planning services dated April 24th, 2026. And authorize the mayor to sign the revised authorization to proceed with the new agreement with a proposed budget of $72,700.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. that one over. The next item relates to the bid that we had to assess the engineering, the condition of the village dock at the bottom of Main Street. We approved the bid some time ago. There was back and forth between our attorney and the engineer about specifics in the bid. The changes that needed to be made in order for us to sign it have been made, and they are two small items that seem to take a very long time to get through. Under general terms and conditions, the contract will now be governed by the laws of the state of New York rather than Connecticut, where they are located. And the liability has for the engineer has increased to 500,000 from 300,000. So with that, any discussion, first of all?
The version that we see says governed by the laws of the state of Connecticut.
You have the draft
We have both
version,
versions.
but I attached the new version today.
Oh,
Right, you have this.
okay.
No,
No,
The old ones, marked draft.
okay.
this
Yes,
is
yeah.
literally
Thank
our attorney sent it to us this afternoon.
Perfect.
It's been
understand.
Marjorie's had a runaround day with the agenda. But it does reflect everything that it needed to reflect.
Okay.
And what else? I don't think anything else on that topic. So,
Regarding changes to the contract.
yeah, that was it on changes.
There was also a 10% markup on certain things that's been deleted, and there was one other thing, but I can't remember what it was.
You have an attorney
The
review
moment.
contracts. Okay. Would someone please make a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion to authorize mayor to sign the contract with Race Coastal Engineering for structural engineering evaluation of Cold Spring Pier / dock.
Second.
And before we vote, just to confirm, this was, the bid had a work completion requirement of June, end of June. Obviously, the back and forth with our attorney and the engineer has shortened that time. So it has been, the completion date has been extended, but it'll still be done in time for us to enter contracts for docking in the fall, should all be well. Okay, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You? Okay, we budgeted,
Sorry, I missed the first, and who made the motion?
I did.
Thank you, and who seconded?
Yeah, I think
Andrew
Andrew
did.
did. Yeah. And we all voted aye. Okay, next item. This is a next fiscal year item, but the lead time for getting the items is long. So the officer in charge has asked us to put in the purchase order now. So we budgeted within the next budget year for new tasers and a 10-year licensing contract. The total price is $106,382, but it's amortized over a 10-year period. And because we've chosen the 10-year path, it's cheaper with the 10-year path, the 10-year contract, and it also gives us an upgrade path. The problem of the tasers the officers carry now is they were bought a number of years back and they were already old technology. So there is no upgrade path. So this is an investment for a longer period of time, and it gives our officers another tool in their kits. It's very rare that they use them, but when they need them, they need them. So,
Stephanie, because I know we had a lot of discussion about this. I see.
oh, I see,
Oh,
as long as we have
so
questions.
That question about the replacement cartridges, we resolved that, right, in terms of the numbers and the additional
We
cost?
did, but I don't remember the resolution, so maybe if Officer Jackson can unmute himself.
Yeah, what did you need to know?
That issue about the replacement cartridges and how many we were getting and how much they were costing. And I think, in conversations with Michelle, you both cracked that, but I just wanted to revisit that and understand what
Yeah.
was it.
So everybody is going to get a set of cartridges and one replacement cartridge.
Okay.
In the event that they have to use that cartridge, they will send an additional replacement at no cost. So that's That's
But
all.
that cartridge has like 10 charges in it or something like that, right?
Yes. Yep. And they can be individually replaced. So it's not that they're, you're replacing the whole cartridge, you're replacing the individual projectile in the cartridge.
And that's all included in this cost of
Yeah,
106,000.
everything's included, including the training. So it's all roped into one.
So we are approving a purchase order in fiscal year 26, but the cost shifts. The delivery happens after May 31st and the cost comes out of fiscal year 27 after June 1st. So I need authorization to sign the contract. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Cold Spring Police Department Officer in Charge Matthew Jackson's request to accept Exxon Enterprise Inc.'s contract proposal issued May the 5th, 2026 for TASER 10 certification standard plan with a budget of $106,382 amortized over a period of 10 years.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, next, we send our highway crew chief to local road school, the name of it, highway school. It's sponsored by the Cornell Local Roads Program. It's a networking opportunity and teaching opportunity to keep skills sharp. The difference in our request this year is that we, the board, requested that Dominic Russo, a member of the team, also be sent so that we begin, once he gets close to retirement, we are passing on information and ensuring that others have the information that is in Bugsy's head. So the request is for 2. Roger, you have it as 2 motions. Can we consolidate it into a single motion?
I originally had it as one motion and you asked for a second recommendation, so I broke them into 2, but
Oh, I thought he was gonna update his
you
first one.
can combine them because they're both for the same amount.
Okay,
So for 2 members of the team, and you can name them and the
okay.
total cost.
So I make a motion to authorize roadways and facilities crew chief Robert Downey and roadways and facility department crew member Dominic Russo's attendance at Cornell University's local roads program highway school in Ithaca, New York from Monday, June 1st through Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 at a total estimated cost of up to $2,200 for tuition, meals, lodging, and travel mileage.
Second.
All in favor? We'll give Tony that second.
Stand
Andy's had plenty.
down. Second.
And I'm very pleased that Dominic was excited to be asked and
Yeah.
is wanting to go. Okay. The next item relates to water and wastewater. The layperson translation of Matt's letter is this. This equipment, this meter counts. So our wastewater plant is a biodigester. It's like compost. It's like a sourdough starter, right? We maintain prebiotics in the pre and probiotics in the tanks that eat the waste, clean it, and then we treat it and release it. So plant was built in 1968. This is one of the original pieces of equipment. So Matt is asking us to replace the machine that goes bing, that counts particles in wastewater as they go through each tank. What's 1 meter, but monitors at various locations. And this money, the cost, which is $2,657.17, can be taken from the bond money that we just authorized for upgrades at the plant.
Okay.
So would someone like to make a motion? Well, first, any discussion?
Are these all part of the schedule of ongoing repairs that
Yeah.
need to be done? Okay.
This is one of the.
Okay.
Angelo has shared the list with us. Let's ask for that.
No. No, they're working on it at the time. Yeah. I'll make a motion Motion to approve, Water and Wastewater Department Superintendent's recommendation to approve the purchase of a new Partech total suspended solids and mixed liquor suspended solids meter and probe for the village's wastewater treatment facility from USA Blue Book for a total cost of $2,657.17.
Liquor or liquid?
You know, I asked if liquor was the correct term, and in fact, it is.
Liquor?
It is liquor, not liquid.
I think that's what you call compost, like,
That's exactly right.
right? Like the, stuff that comes out of compost.
It is.
Oh, the things,
Well,
But it sounds
Back
much
to
more
your brain.
exciting
Yeah.
in the agenda than
Just don't drink it.
Yeah.
just don't drink it. Yeah. Okay, Laura moved it. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That was a vocabulary word from me. Okay, a little bit of background because this is an old item. So, when we began the FEMA recovery project on Fair Street, we needed to have permits from the Army Corps of Engineers, the DEC, the EPA, and Putnam County, because our wastewater, or not our wastewater, excuse me, being very clear, our stormwater discharges into the tidal pool just north of Mayor's Park. And that tidal pool has 3 underwater parcels. 2 of them belong to the county, 1 of them belongs to New York State Parks. In going through that process of asking the county for permits, the Commissioner for Public Works said, it's silly for you to have us in here as another layer. This is a property that we got as part of a tax, reclamation isn't the right word, but a foreclosure. So why don't we give the village this parcel, and then you've got 1 fewer layer to go through. So the county legislature approved that in October. When it first came back to us, the village attorney contemplated whether we should go back and ask for the second parcel. A million things happened in between, and we haven't explored that any further. So my recommendation is that we take the one that we know we need, and if we find later that we need to have further discussions, we have them separately. So this is an authorization for me to sign the tax documents that transfer that single parcel. It's a long, narrow parcel that runs parallel to Fair Street from the county to us. Discussion? Okay, someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the transfer documents for conveyance of Putnam County owned parcel 428125 on North Fair Street to the village of Cold Spring.
48, right? Or 42.
48.8
Oops.
-1-25. I don't know, I'm reading from the
that's what it's in.
from the agenda.
Well, let's look on the document.
42, that's right.
Oh.
She meant 48.
Just for the record.
So we'll take parcel 42 also. 48 for the clearance.
No,
That's it. This Laura's now said 48.
sorry about that.
So clarity for the record is 48.8-1-25. So Laura has moved. Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Go for it.
I'll say.
I'm just eager tonight. All in favor? Aye, and I would say thank you very much indeed to DPW Commissioner Tom Ferry and to the legislature for supporting the request. I have 1 more and then book club.
No problem.
So we have a request to dedicate a bench at the Cold Spring dock. In your backup, there, Bugsy had drawn a little map so we can keep track of what's available and what's not. It's at the northwest corner of the dock, so looking out at Crow's Nest and Storm King. That is the request. This came in a bit ago, and I know that we are contemplating modifying the fee schedule for benches, so I wanted to make sure that this gentleman who had made an ask previous to that discussion was able to do it at the price we have currently. Discussion? Okay, would like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we vote to approve resident Thomas DeGeese's request to install a memorial bench plaque on a bench owned by the Village of Cold Spring, situated on the Village of Cold Spring dock.
At a fee,
Mhm.
at a fee of,
At a fee of $250 plus the cost of the plaque. To be supplied by the applicant.
thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Is artwork? Boat Club. So let's talk, we have two proposals from you this evening. Let's start with the fence, because that's the simple one. So we have two new, I don't actually know that you've dealt with boat club stuff before either.
There was the redo of the.
Oh, yeah, of the wall. Yeah.
The bulkhead,
That's
yeah.
right,
It's
that's right.
all the way back. That's an end.
Thank you for the word.
So yes, it is, at the back of your packet, the drawing and the letter. But just for the public's information and refresher for everybody. The village has a 20-year lease with the boat club. Boat club was established in 1955. This lease was negotiated in 2021. It is a tiered lease for a 20-year period, starting lower and increasing as time goes on, recognizing both the club's stewardship of the property over time and the need for the village to have a revenue source on that waterfront parcel, but recognizing too that they need time to get on their feet with a fundraising effort, et cetera. So the lease came before us. Well, you and I were here for the lease passing. But we're working with that. And there are two important items in the lease that relate to the gate. And one is that the village board needs to give written consent for buildings or improvements before they're built. And once they are built, they become property of the owner, which is us. We want short fence. And tenant shall not, without the prior written consent of the landlord, construct, erect, or maintain any barricades, fences, obstructions, wall, curb, landscape, barrier, other than the rolling gate. And that language speaks to a time in the village when I think we can say frankly, there were not the most amicable relations between the village and the boat club. So there is a lot of sort of strictness in the lease, but I'm going to ask these gentlemen to introduce themselves and their roles. I want to recognize that our relationship with the boat club has improved immensely. And you being here tonight is a result of that. And we are delighted to see growth and new ideas coming out of the club. And one of the intents of this lease was to really open for the public to be more aware that the boat club is an asset for everybody in the village. And we have one of those extremely rare opportunities that normal people, regular people, not just billionaires, can access the river via our dock. It's a working dock. Members pay in at a rate that is reasonably affordable, and also can work off their hours. And to me, that says something really important about Cold Spring, who we are as a community, how much we are connected to our river and love our river, and how we want all of our community to be able to have that access. So long intro to say thank you, and I will turn it over to you relating to the gate. And if you would both introduce yourselves and tell the rest of the board your roles.
Yeah, I'm Eric Bearveld. I'm the current Commodore of the boat club. I like how I had.
What was your name, Eric?
Eric Bearveld. It's Dave DeVico's hat from 25 years ago.
Amazing.
The hat is the Commodore. Yeah, no, I'm here. I wanted to obviously see how the village worked, and help Greg with all of his projects. This will be the first of kind of many as we, start to make some improvements to the club. There's a whole bunch of things that we're all talking about and trying to figure out, where it fits in with the club and its membership and village. So we will take, kind of baby steps in a new direction.
Greg Matthews. I've been a member of the boat club for 12 years. So I was there back when there was the contentious, relationship. But we're hoping to change that. There's a lot of new members and new leaders as well. So yeah, we do want, and a lot of people do want the boat club to be more of an asset, to the community. So we have a lot of ideas to that effect. Bringing in, maybe offering kayaks or having youth programs or interacting with the school in different ways. So we have a lot of ideas, but it kind of starts with safety. That's why the gate, you see that there, and then fundraising efforts, which is our first one is that food truck, but there's others that we have behind that. So
Let's hit the gate first.
yeah, that one. Okay, so the gate.
And excuse
go
me, just to say, the construction was, the footings have been dug. Andrew and I saw them on Saturday. That was not, and not malicious intent. They're just, it's everyone getting accustomed to the lease and the terms of the lease. So you paused after you dug the footings and came in. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I take full responsibility for that.
And there's a premise gate. We're not,
Yeah.
not a new gate. We're modifying a current gate situation.
It's actually nice to learn the process. Like I was saying, I've already learned so much, and just coming here to see, submit the proposal and the format, and coming to the meeting if I need to, and the thing is we're working together.
Yeah.
I think the board would probably want the same things that we want. So I imagine that a lot of things you'll like that we're proposing.
Right, well, tell us about the gate. So this is.
So the gate's very simple. It's on that north western corner. There is a gate there right now. It's just very low, and it sort of falls, and people do use that point to either jump or walk through. So we did a drawing there. Roger did a drawing of the gate that is just much stronger. It's actually, the frame is made of steel, but we know that the village wants to see the aesthetic, the same wood slats and the paint to match exactly. So that's all on the outside. You won't really see the steel on the inside. So we took that effort.
So it's being wrapped.
It's being wrapped with wood cladding. But it just gives us more security there, because we do have not so much community members really, because it's sometimes fun for them to come as long as we're there. But it's like, that's a corner where tourists, visitors go, and they may not, they just kind of wander, and it's sometimes, especially when we're working in the spring and the fall, it's not very safe. It's not like there's a crane there, and the crane might need work, and
Walkable?
what's that?
Walkable?
Yeah, that's kind of the main point of the steel frame part, so that like when it locks, it doesn't sag over time, and then we lose that point. So that's kind of what it's all about. It is like it did. My question was, we were trying to figure it out. I think we did, but was we didn't. There was like a height issue, and I think there's a height question of the village, and we didn't know what that was. So we just kind of drew it that way, so it comes up to 6 feet, because we thought that would really work better than a shorter gate. So
Well, it also makes clear where the entrance is. Go ahead, Tony.
right.
It looks better as well, I think. Where it goes up to the 6 foot. I know we have a 4 foot limit, I think, but that looks, it's decorative. I think it looks good.
Yeah, Roger did a good job with that, I thought.
I understood an additional purpose, which I think the public should know about. Just like we charge for parking on our main street, our docks are an asset, and help raise money for the funds. They use Park Mobile as well, but have experienced trouble with people not paying. And so can you explain how this works as a payment mechanism?
Well, it's not, it hasn't, we haven't ordered any of those parts or not 100% sure if they would work. It's more about security, but currently we have Park Mobile, people come up. And the Park Mobile for me is easy because I have the app, I go to different cities and I know how to use it and it times you automatically. But, when people pull up on the boat, it's not really a time in and time out sort of thing. You sort of ask them how long they're gonna stay. So we've lost a lot of revenue that way, people just say 1 hour. And we don't, we're not trying to like overcharge people or anything like that. I've been up and down the river, seeing what other places charge, and Cold Springs, really honestly, like a lot of people say it's the best, one of the best stops you can make, along the river, so.
What do you charge?
We charge $10 an hour, but we were thinking about with this gate, doing $25 per charge. So that way it's kind of the same thing, but it's just, we make sure that when we're not there, people are coming through, so. Yeah, that's in the works, but I don't know if
I may be making this up, but I thought that at one point you talked about having to pay to get back in, to get.
Well, the reason why, that was more of, Gordon, liked that for insurance purposes, because if you don't want to be locked, from the inside.
Right.
Just for insurance, emergency services,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's more of like there's signs as you go out, there would be signs that you have to pay to get back in. And then, so you freely leave, and then coming back, you pay. It's like a swipe system, so you swipe the card, just like they have on vending machines.
So it's something you're working out with Park Mobile.
We wouldn't use Park Mobile anymore, if this worked,
Questions from the board?
Yeah, one question, if something goes wrong with the fence, the gate, the opening or anything, the maintenance costs go on the boat club, right, or not the village?
Yeah, 100%.
And there's a fail safe in case of a power outage and stuff, so, obviously it's electronically controlled, but, power goes out, then it'll just remain open.
Well, if somebody runs into it or something like that, it goes on the boat club's insurance, not the village.
Correct, right.
I hope everybody runs into it if that was.
Well,
Right?
worst case scenario, if it gets broken, we don't have to fix it.
No.
Right.
Okay.
No, that was another question on there too, like, and this is just for the future. The way I understood, I read that lease was, and I'm familiar with construction, so it was like, it almost sounded like, they wanted subcontractors with, insurance, but we do a lot of our own work as well, and we do, the small projects. The way we understood that lease, or Mark understood it, was that for big projects like the bulkhead, that's someone you're hiring a company and then we provide that insurance. But for small things, we do ourselves, and then it goes under our own.
Yeah, that is not the spirit I understand in the lease. It identifies work needing to be done. Like, it's a strange word to a workmanly level or it's trying to get at quality of work. But I don't understand it to prevent you from doing work on your own,
Okay.
but saying it needs to be up to standard.
No problem.
I'll find it. I'm not gonna find it now because I'm looking for it, but I'll find it and send it to you. And you all have you have indemnification for your own members, right? So. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, just first off, a plug for the boat club, right? Annual dues are $100 for a non-boat owner membership.
Yeah. 200.
Well, and then we have an
plus-
assessment
We have an assessment
presently in place, which is another 100, but yes, the standard dues are 100.
If you have that, you can just go in, hang out there, have a coffee, do whatever you want.
Go see it. You're on your own insurance, so you can come down.
Yeah.
Hang out. Yeah, I think you'll probably see, hopefully with your help, you'll see a lot of changes in the next couple of years.
So my question is about the fence height.
Mhm.
it starts at 4 and goes up to 6, but that requirement is waived because it's village property. Is that correct in terms of fence height?
Right, right. It does not need a zoning variance because it's our property. I found the text. All alterations, improvements, and additions to which landlord consents shall be performed in a good and workmanlike manner. Shall be at least substantially equal in quality. Shall be at least substantially equal in quality and usefulness to the original work at the premises and of a first-class modern character. Shall not diminish the overall value of the premises. I have an idea who wrote that.
That's funny, I didn't read that.
Okay, does anyone have any concerns about the gate?
When are you gonna get it finished?
It was my fault, we actually started, so now I, you know, like, you know, we could, yeah, we could, so.
I mean, we can.
We stopped, so yeah, I think it would probably be in the next, you know, best case, a couple weeks, it could be done. You know, but you never.
Make a motion?
Me?
Yes, you sounded like you're about to make one.
No.
You look like it.
Yeah, motion.
I have that look. Sure. I will make a motion. We don't have,
Oh,
I
pause,
don't have one.
before you
In
do.
addition to the.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna make a suggestion that we approve in principle tonight. And we have our attorney draft a resolution for us to approve in final next board meeting, it's the 20th. Are people comfortable, if we do that, vote to agree in principle, are board members comfortable with them proceeding with the work, knowing that the
Absolutely.
resolution comes?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're making a motion to approve the gate?
I
In
am
principle?
making motion to approve the gate in principle after our legal writes a resolution regarding the boat club gate.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yep. And that way you've got backup in among your crew as well. Okay, second is trickier.
Yeah.
Second is a question of food truck. The board, we established a moratorium to try, we have no specific criteria for approving food trucks in our code. It feels a bit arbitrary right now, and so we set a moratorium to establish more clear criteria, and a million things came up and we didn't get it written within the moratorium period. Rather than setting a new moratorium, we decided to focus on getting the text done. It shouldn't be that complicated. I agreed to put this on the agenda because we approved you for a food truck last year in a pilot. So as there is precedent for doing it. When we have talked in principle about food trucks, we have talked about 2 zoning districts, parks and the ERC, education, religious, and civic uses. So limiting where they can go, not in single family homes, not on Main Street. And this is in the spirit of that. So I first want to ask the board if you have any questions about process on that, relating to that. Are you comfortable with moving ahead based on what I have just laid out? And that is another reason that I want to make sure that we have a resolution from the attorney so that we're clear that we are making this decision at this time because.
And then would this, if this were to be approved, this would be essentially grandfathered in, like if we adopted a new policy halfway through the summer, this approval would supersede that.
Right, and then next year, yeah. I mean, in your proposal, you have requested, I don't know if it's a typo or not. You've requested every year. Yeah, and no. But we're happy to, we're happy to talk about, I don't know if board members are happy to approve, but we're happy to talk about this year,
Good catch.
okay? Sneak.
No, what- yeah, but I said, good catch. It wasn't, I just, wanted to know what I could do for the next few years, so, but tell me how.
About the summer, tell us what you're thinking about, and first, if you could explain for the benefit of the public, what it was, what the pilot constituted last year, what that looked like.
So we had, it was 3 weekends in July and 3 in August. So, and it went well. I mean, the public, people liked it. The person was successful. So, we sort of got around to talking about this too late. So this year, so I don't really have too many food truck businesses that are that interested yet, you know what I mean? Right now, I'm just looking for the approval to be able to do it and what hours and days, and then I can go to the trucks, because I kind of did it backwards. And I had food trucks and they're ready to start May 1st, and then we were kind of in the middle of this process, and they had to go, somewhere else because we weren't ready, so. But, most importantly, it's like being able to do it, so as long as we have we basically just want to, make money from the rent. We might, at some point, I don't know, do it ourselves, but I think it's more, what people are more interested in is, renting out the space for revenue for us.
And what were the hours of the pilot?
It was 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I don't know if it was 7 days a week, but you didn't know, because we had on the weekends back then.
Says here 7 days.
The request is for 7 days.
Well,
Last year they did. I think that's an element of discussion.
Yeah, sure.
Did you, and we do have a plan and a packet. Did you have any complaints from neighbors?
Garbage either, we kind of have that figured out.
He's gonna
Like
take care of that.
bins, and then we have a dumpster that's right there. Start a food
You
truck.
put out additional bins near where people are buying food, and you clear those into your dumpster.
They actually clean the food truck people themselves, but we're always there if they don't.
And it's probably clear in the proposal, but we set up a outside power hookup, so there's no generators or anything, so there's no noise for the vendors there.
I think that was one of the big impacts that in years past people have complained about on West Street, was the sound of the generator.
Oh, definitely not a generator, we wouldn't either. I mean, for a food truck owner, it's like having the location, it's got power.
Well, I mean, and the reality is, we don't have enough seats to feed people in the village on big weekends.
Right.
I will say that I honestly have concerns about saying yes, to going from 6 weekends to 7 days a week, 8 to 8, 11 to 8. And I'd like to hear from board members about that.
I got one question.
Sorry, just on the 7 days a week, I think the 7 days a week comes from a concept of having somebody there permanently. For the summer, instead of constantly having trucks coming in and out. So we wanted to have somebody there that was there, committed and for the summer. So it became a more frequent presence, which would necessitate approval for 7 days a week. Now, is it going to be very busy on Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Probably not, but as.
So you're talking about locating there 7 days a week, but not necessarily operating.
Yeah, we could talk about those definitions, but I think, that was part of the conversations that we were having with the vendors was, being able to be there to keep the trailer there and kind of those kinds of things. So having a permanent location is a bit more attractive to them than saying, hey, we've got this small window and then they've got to move, they got to set up, they got to break down. So I think that's a bit of where that kind of big, let's say permanent food truck location comes from, not necessarily us, bringing in different trucks every single day or every single week. It's more about having a more permanent presence there.
Right, easier to manage too. I mean, if we can find someone who would stay, I think that'd be the best case for us,
Got it. What was your question, Tony?
So We have a lease with the boat club. Is there anything in the boat club lease that prohibits a private vendor subcontracting from the boat club to do this?
No.
Okay. And the second thing is seating. Are people gonna be able to sit down on boat club property to eat? Or they're just gonna,
No, not people that would be eating. It's set up
they
where.
get by and go down on one of the benches? or something?
Exactly, yeah. We're gonna, same as we did last year, just cut open a piece of the fence there. There's only like screws that will go. Take off the piece of the fence, and the food truck sits right there. The face of the food truck is on the,
Oh, I got
it's all village
that.
property, but our imaginary line that we have there from the park to the boat club.
Mhm. And more important for me, what kind of foods is in there?
That's what I'm looking. That was the thought.
Oh, the barbecue, I'm talking
I
about.
know.
It'll be schnitzel these days, right?
That's what I have the approval for, so I can go look for. But yeah, no, did have a taco, I do have a taco truck that's interesting. It's the whole world.
Community Day last year was great.
Yeah.
We don't endorse anyone as a board.
You guys will police all the garbage and all that
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Sounds good to me.
Did you look like you were percolating a question?
No, I mean, I don't know how to get it. I agree that 7 days or 6 months or however many months it is a lot. I understand the rationale of making it, of encouraging a single one, and I wonder if there's a way that they can have kind of flexibility of what days to operate, but there's a cap or some, I don't know. I
Well,
wonder
I
if
don't
there's a
think
way
we're
to
gonna
do that.
do 6 months, 7 days.
Yeah.
You know, but I understand the language, would say that, so that matters, but. I think it's just the ability to be able to, be able to get them, I know that doesn't help, but, that's part of the reality, is like, we just want the ability to be able to get people that time for that duration, but you talk to the food trucks and they don't really work Monday and Tuesday,
Yeah.
and, so.
My concern is that we are all crushed in the high season, particularly on weekends, and getting a break from people can be a relief, particularly in that neighborhood that gets such heavy visitation. I feel like I could be open to Thursday through
Put off
Sunday. But I don't feel great about carte blanche for 7 days. Others have, that's what you're thinking too,
Well, I mean, a holiday might fall on,
Well,
in that area.
and holidays, yeah.
I support in principle the idea of having food trucks, and I welcome the enterprise that you're showing. I mean, I think the devil is in the detail, and in the context of a moratorium we have, I think we should strive to be consistent with what we've done in the past. And anything we agree should be no more or less favorable to what's already existed, or I know we've had people apply for food trucks and been interested, and
We haven't approved a
yeah,
food truck outside of a community event
yeah.
And
ever. I mean, it's in the last 6 years.
there's
no
no precedent, really,
Well,
There
this
isn't
one.
except for this, but this is on our
Exactly.
property.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm just wary of us putting, as it were, the truck before the horse, and like that. And like, I'd be happy agreeing to continue what we've already done, but I'm not sure about us granting a wider remit when others don't have the same opportunity to do that, just to be consistent. So that's one point. And the other is, and I'm not sure, I mean, I just want to put that out there for
Yeah.
discussion. And the other is, because it's on village property, is there any revenue share with the village?
No, I mean, we didn't think so, just because our whole objective since that last lease was signed, I mean, it's a lot of money, for us, previous to what, from what we used to pay.
Nothing,
So,
which was nothing.
right, exactly.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, no, I'm happy to have the 20 years and the amount, and also for the village to get, money, and I think we can pay, easily pay those amounts, but we just have to make these efforts, fundraising efforts, food trucks. We have kayaks coming. I'll be back here in 3 weeks, talk to you about kayaks.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Mhm.
and it might be, this is sort of a half-baked
Yeah.
thought, but I'm just telling you what's in my head, is that if we're looking at this as, like, last year was a trial, this year is sort of potentially an expanded trial. If it becomes something more permanent, maybe that's a conversation we have, but I know that they're trying to raise money to pay the lease.
Mhm.
Um,
So this is a 1-year trial, it's not. like,
Well,
they
I
know-
think I'd have to come back anyway next year for the permit, so,
I mean,
and then maybe sorry, Con.
no, you can finish your thought.
And then it sounds like your food truck, law, whatever it's called, would be more defined, and then I'd have to get into that next year anyway, right? So I guess it is another trial.
Mhm.
But I
Sounds
also, so I think the main difference here is that it's on our property, versus other proposals that we've received, which been every which way on sidewalks, like all different things. So I think whatever language we come up with should address kind of like the things that we think we would be most comfortable with. But I think in terms of the boat club specifically in that location, I think trying out a more expanded schedule, I think, is interesting. I don't think, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, I think it would probably be a bit much. I think like a Thursday through Sunday makes a lot more sense. But I can appreciate, there's something to be said for like having a situation where, said taco or Jamaican food or whatever, Thai food, like whatever it would be, that it's going to be there, I think is an amenity for the village, for people who live here as well, just on
Yeah.
like a normal sort of, not looking just about tourists, but for all of us to have expanded options. So I would be in favor of making sure that whatever language we come up with sort of acknowledges different types of food truck situations that could be proposed in the village. Including this
and
on
it's
our
hard,
property.
there really isn't, other than community events and the boat club,
Mhm.
there isn't precedent to look at, because every time they've been proposed in places where the board always said no.
Mhm.
What about
And-
the ice cream truck that drives around?
Well,
It's irritating music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it rides around, that's the thing, and so it can, when it.
You tell all the kids that you're gonna.
Yeah, well,
They hear it coming.
Be money.
It is classic and irritating all at the same time.
Yeah.
So in the past, they've been proposed, on Main Street,
Mhm.
next to St. Mary's Lawn. They've been proposed on 9D, next to Mayor's Park. They've been proposed on West Street. The previous language in the code made them only possible on West Street, which has residential impacts in that location. I mean, they were right across the street from, there's a little bit of separation there because you're across the street and across the park from the residents. But I do want to be mindful that that neighborhood takes the brunt of visitation. So I want to be respectful of their quality of life as well.
Mhm.
Although they may be really digging having food alternatives also. So Andrew, we wouldn't be treating differently than we have treated previous, because we've said no to everything except community events.
Yeah, as I'm sitting here, I'm realizing that this was a pilot scheme last year that happened under pre-existing conditions, and those same conditions are excellent right now. So it's not
Right.
It's not a special case in some ways. It is a special case in terms of maybe expanding well, it's not a special case, but it's a consideration, like expanding the number of days that you're going to be there. And then
I mean, we'd be okay with the Thursday through Sunday, that,
Yeah.
And it's in the spirit
probably
of,
all we're gonna get trucks in.
excuse me for
And holidays.
and holidays. It's in the spirit of the direction we were taking when we discussed the draft, which was get it off streets blocking
Yeah,
traffic
yeah.
and and not possible in residential neighborhoods. Focus it in parks and ERC. So that's where they are. That parcel is zoned
Yeah.
ERC. And you're not blocking traffic.
And just to reiterate, I support the idea of
Yeah.
food trucks. I just didn't want us to get ahead of ourselves in doing something that might conflict with legislation that we
Yeah.
introduce a little bit later. So I just wanted to be consistent around what we have done and what we are going to be doing
Got
in the
it,
future.
got it. That's why I think it's so important to have a resolution so that it's papered well and precedent.
Yeah.
We're not setting precedent that
Mhm.
drives.
Mm.
So, it sounds like you're not lined up to start right now anyway.
No, but yeah, we'd like the approval, so then I could work to find the food truck, because I've
Yeah.
already met people there, and then without having a date, they just found some other place to go.
So we next meet on the 20th. Do others agree that this should be by resolution, so we can document all the things we're talking about? Okay. I feel less confident approving in principle on this one because there's so many details. I think this one I'd rather wait and come back on the 20th. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I know you're getting close to Memorial Day. But I think from the village's perspective, it makes sense for us to take our time and get it right and come back with a resolution everybody can approve on the 20th. Okay, so I will make a motion, unless there's further discussion. I'll make a motion to table the food truck question.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thanks for explaining everything. So clearly.
Good luck.
We good?
Yeah, you're good. About the rest of the
Yep, stay till the approval.
That's good. Pen down the page if you want.
You're excused. Thank you very much. See ya. Nice to see you both again. Okay, next
for the
up
long
is
haul out there?
film.
I think you're in for the long haul out there.
Yeah, I was hoping to make a comment, but I'm happy to listen anyway.
It's not a public hearing tonight, so we don't have comment, but you're welcome to stay and listen.
Well, thank you so much, Ed. Thank you.
Okay. And are you Harry?
No, I'm Alan.
You're Alan.
Yeah,
Harry your
I
brother?
met you up at the church.
But you have a Thrift King shirt, and I thought, is that where Harry
Yeah.
appeared too?
Oh, I'm just a local that's happy to be proud of.
I love Thrift King
How that
too.
works.
Yay, Thrift King. Okay. I haven't seen Harry in a long time, so I thought maybe you were him. Okay, you were he.
John.
Okay, the next item up is the film. Yep, this is Andrew. And we have a representative from the film company here. Online, Zoom. So Andrew, you wanna give us an intro?
Sure.
You're not help. Are you waiting for her?
Is Liz coming online?
I asked her to unmute.
Liz, if you mute yourself, you'll have to request to unmute again.
There you go. Okay. No.
Well, Andrew, can you
Sure.
start in while we're
So,
waiting?
I mean, I think Liz is going to be able to give more detail than, or have the latest detail, but essentially it's a one-day shoot, June the 3rd. The company was
Hello,
originally.
hi. Sorry,
Hi.
I had an issue unmuting. It said the host had to unmute me. I apologize. Good evening, everybody.
Hi. I was just beginning a brief introduction, then I'll hand over to you to.
Sure, go ahead. Thank you.
So June the 3rd, one day, I think the plan right now is to begin loading in at the Loretto Church parking lot. The company are going to use that as their base camp. They'll be arriving at 7, and then they'll be going down towards the depot to set up for around 8:30 for a shot there. They have an agreement with Mr. Pagonis there, and then crossing over the street to the house on the corner of Railroad and Depot Square to do the next shot.
The big building.
The big building, yeah, on the Railroad Avenue on the uphill side there. I think those were the two setups. Is there a third one apart from the car?
No, those are our two setups, in down by the depot. So our first setup would be, in the restaurant parking lot underneath his awning. We do have an agreement with Mr. Pagonis in regards to using, two of his parking spaces in order to set up our little exterior market. And then we intend to start, we would like to unload at the church, start bringing down our equipment, and then we would intending to be rolling cameras by 8:30 in the morning to be out of that area by 11 a.m. After 11 a.m., we would then move across the street to the house on the corner to do our rabbit scene, and this is where the animal would come into play. At that point, we would shoot there for a couple of hours, and then we would like to do handheld Steadicam work on the main street, which that would just be our two actors, the director and our DP, on the handheld Steadicam, just walking down a couple of the blocks on Main Street.
Oh, walking. I
Yes,
thought you said
walking.
from a car.
No, we do. We would like to do that
Then
too.
you also want,
That would come that would come after the walking down the street. So we had our scout this morning. So our original request was that we would be filming at the Depot Square in the morning, and then we would do our scene across the street in that with the rabbit, and then we would do some Steadicam work walking down the streets of Main Street with our actor for about an hour and a half, and then after our tech scout this morning. We would also like to do some driving work, which is just like I said, minimal impact to the point where a camera will be in the vehicle. We will just take a loop around the town, and we will do that a couple of times in order to achieve our work. And then after that, we would be done.
I'm going to interrupt for just 1 second. I
Sure.
see someone joining named Roger, and in case you're Roger Hoffman, we have just finished the boat club discussion. So you are welcome to join the rest of the meeting, but we have approved the gate in principle, and we are coming back on the 20th to talk about the boat club. I'm sorry, the food truck. So I don't want you to sit all night if it is you. If it's not, whoever you are, you're welcome to stay. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, so anyway, that's basically the gist of our work. And I have been in contact with Father Lutz in regards to using the parking lot and the church hall as a holding, catering, and a base camp for our cast and crew, which will be about 18 people. I have reached out to Father Lutz. He and I spoke yesterday, so I'm currently waiting on COI for the church from my production company. And after I receive that, I'll be able to send him all the paperwork that's necessary in order for him to sign. But I want to make sure that we have that insurance first, which I just need to await the COI. So his secretary, Fran, has reached out to me yesterday and gave me all of the requirements that they need on their end. I sent him a letter of intent earlier this morning, and so I'm just waiting on a response for that. Otherwise, we do have our executed agreement with Mr. Pagonis for the Restaurant Depot, and yeah, that's it.
Have we received that yet?
What about 8 Depot?
Oh, yes, and 8 Depot is under different ownership. 8 Depot is, we can give you the name of the property owner.
Yeah, please, because I didn't know that. We just wanted to kind of be on the sidewalk, and I thought that was a city thing that I was permitting, not the village thing that I was permitting, not that I needed to actually speak to the building. I'm happy to do that, but we have no intention of blocking the entrances to the building or, causing any impact to those residents. So.
Oh, okay, and on the 1 Depot side, you're in his parking spaces, which is different.
Yes, which is what our agreement is with the restaurant, correct?
and you won't be spilling over those parking spaces. How many parking spaces do you have?
We've requested 3.
Okay.
For 18 people.
I don't think it's 8. I mean, they have.
Well, so that's our set, if that makes sense. And we would like to stay contained kind of within that area. So that's where our setups will be, and that's where our set will be. So kind of all of that action will kind of take place within those spaces, right where we have agreed to with Mr. Pagonis.
Could I interject something as having, Liz, when we first spoke, I tried to make this clear, and I just want to make sure I just want to make sure I did, that when you reference Mr. Pagonis's parking lot, he has parking spaces, but
Yes.
the street behind there is a public public street. And so are you just referring to the parking spaces themselves and the sidewalk in front of Mr. Pagonis's building?
That's
Or
correct.
the entire
No,
square?
I'm referring to the parking spaces themselves and that specific amount of sidewalk in front of his building.
Okay,
We do have,
thank you.
we do have our, the commanding officer of our police department here.
Sure.
I want particularly for him to ask the questions he thinks are important about not only that particular location, but also the walking on Main Street. The June 3rd is a Wednesday, so it's not a Saturday. Thank you for moving away from Saturday. That was going to be a problem. Liz, it's been our experience. Good night.
Night.
We've had a lot of films shot here, and in our experience, we're staying just in this space never quite happens. Inevitably spread out. So Tony was asking about traffic disruptions, and that is a concern that I share on Depot Square, and why I want to make sure that the officer in charge has a conversation with you about that.
And also, Liz, to Tony's question, can you break down, you say a crew of 18, but which of the 18 will be there at that shoot location? Because I know you'll have.
Absolutely.
Who's actually going to be there and what are they going to be doing?
I'd also love to talk about the traffic too that kind of comes around that Depot Square area, just for a better understanding for us as well. So I would say that essential crew members are going to be down on set. It will be the director, it will be the DP, it will be the gaffer, it will be key grip. We will have, because we will have the animal, we will have for that the rabbit scene. We will have an animal wrangler who will be the only person, along with the actors, who is able to work and touch the animal at all. Then we will also have a couple of PAs to be able to handle pedestrian traffic for any sort of lockups that we may need. And when I say lockups, I am asking specifically for intermittent pedestrian lockups, so that when we're filming our scenes, we can stop people for a couple of minutes or ask them to go across the street so that we can film our work, and then we immediately let them through.
So how many actors? You didn't say actors.
So we'll have 2 main actors, and we'll have about 6 background actors.
Okay, so that's 9 and 6. That's 15 people.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Matt. Take it away.
Do you have a picture of the rabbit?
I don't have a picture of the rabbit, but I can.
I just wanted to see if my rabbit was cuter.
Oh.
So there, you said that there's not going to be any impact to traffic or
We don't
vehicle
know,
traffic or
and-
pedestrian traffic.
Well, pedestrian traffic in a sense that when we are filming, we would ask for intermittent rolls and cuts, that intermittently for people to stop and not walk in this area for the couple of minutes that it takes to shoot the scene, and then we would then allow them to go through. So when it comes to pedestrian traffic, sure, and we do have PAs that will be assisting us in making sure that we're able to lock up the set as best as we possibly can in order to achieve our work. But we do not, we will not put a stop on pedestrians walking through this area. Like I said, excuse me?
I'm talking about cars. I'm talking about
Yeah,
cars.
I understand that, but I'm trying to finish by talking about pedestrians first, because that also matters. So, should there be somebody who wants to walk through, we are more than happy to allow them to do that. And we'll work out, depending on where the camera is showing, they'll be able to walk a different way, and we'll be able to just guide them through, and that'll be fine. As far as the traffic for cars, we want to be in the parking lot. We want to be in those 2 parking spaces at the restaurant Depot, and then we want to be across the street. In my scout, I didn't feel as though that specific area had a lot of car traffic. So I felt that we weren't going to be impacting vehicle traffic. And again, if we were, in a way, this would also be something that would be intermittent, where a car would stop for, a minute, and then they would just go ahead. So I'm trying to get an understanding, I guess, myself, of how much vehicular traffic does happen in that parking lot area, especially in the morning from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Go ahead, Matt.
News.
I'm thinking, the the vehicle traffic is relatively low, but I'm not going to say it's not there. Are you guys going to be filming? Where is your filming location? Where is the cameras going to be set
The
up?
filming location is the parking lot of the restaurant depot. Depot.
Okay.
Matt, it's 3 parking spaces outside the depot and then the wall and the sidewalk abutting the depot.
Yes, I saw that on the map. I'm just wondering where people are going to be during that. Are they going to be in the
Well,
roadway? Are they just going to be in
they're
those
going to be
two
in those,
areas?
they're going to be in those locations where, we work on the sense of professionalism and safety. The first thing that matters to us is the safety of our cast and crew, and we would obviously make sure that none of our cast and crew is going to be walking just willy-nilly in the roadways, getting ready to be hit by a car.
Okay.
Matt, I'm concerned, as I always am, about site creep, 15 people, equipment, and 3 parking spaces. Sounds pretty tight to me. And I don't want us to be in a position again. We're supportive of filming in the village. We just need to make sure it's done safely. And Liz, with all due respect, it's the officer in charge who determines what is necessary for traffic control.
I absolutely agree. And if you guys believe that it would require traffic control, then we're more than happy to accept that. We want to make sure
Um,
that we're safe. That's what that
y-
matters.
yeah, I definitely think it's necessary not only for the safety of your crew and the people of the village, but I think you'll be able to get more of your desired work done if there is traffic control.
Okay.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you because you know, uh, you all attempting to halt traffic or try to get a shot that you need, and trying to do that on your own, it's odds are it's not going to work out very well for you.
Understood.
But I think you do need to have, we all need to have some sort of control over that location and
Yep.
your situation there. So I think it's best if you did have traffic control. That way we can assure everybody that everybody's operating safely, and also you're going to be able to do what you need to do in that allotted time. You know,
Absolutely. No,
we
I
don't
want
want you sitting there waiting. There's cars coming by. You can't get the shot you need. It's easier for us to just put a halt to that temporarily. And when you guys say, okay, we're good, we can let some cars through, then we can do that. We'll work with you with that. I just think it's going to make things a lot smoother for everybody if you did have traffic control there. Overall, it's just from what we've seen in the past, that seems to work the best. Um, for whatever filming crew or company that comes in, it gives you and us the ability to regulate that a little bit better.
Sure. Right. No, and I 100% agree with you. So I thank you for the clarity and I thank you for, being straight up with me about it. Yes, we 100% are willing to accept that and we would happily do so. As I mentioned, the safety of our cast and crew and the safety of the town, is the most important thing for us. So if there is a belief that having the traffic control will be necessary, then we're more than happy to accept that.
And it's just going to be in that one location where you would need the traffic control at Depot Square.
So yeah, but and then if we wanna talk about the main street, situation, that is all sidewalk work. Again, we're just handheld. There would be nothing in the street, nothing would be affecting the street. It's literally just the actor walking down the street with, and we're following them on a handheld camera. So, as far as any lockups there, I don't think that would be necessary at all.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it, but if and you're doing all the shooting on the same day.
Yes.
Okay, so then you know what, that the officer that would be there for traffic control would also be available to assist with that should you need them.
Okay.
It's not that they're going to be physically walking or driving behind you while you're doing this, but they'll be in the area where you are shooting. If you need their assistance, they'll be there to facilitate any requests that you're going to need while shooting. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like you're going to need anything crazy for that, but in the event, you're not getting what you need and you need a little bit of extra help, they will be there for that.
Yeah. No, and we appreciate that, absolutely, so thank you.
Let me also ask in relation to that too, because as I see from your plan, you're probably walking from somewhere around Rock Street, the Pig Hill Inn, down towards the underpass. Is that correct? That stretch is what you
I
have?
believe it was Lund Terrace up to Kimball Avenue.
On Terrace up to Campbell Avenue. Okay, and are you thinking that you're going to do multiple takes, or is it just going to be one take? You're going to have to walk it 2 or 3 times, and
I mean,
how many crew and personnel are going to be there, and what is that going to be on Steadicam as well? Because those can be
yes,
quite.
that is all Steadicam. The walking, it's just the two actors. It's a mother and child, just walking down the street.
Is there audio component to that? Is the director going to be, how many people are going to be doing involved in
It will be the director and the DP, and we will also have sound.
so
So it'll
that's
be three
and
people, three
that's
crew
on boom, right? The sound.
on board. Yes.
You know
That's
what
not a
We want the background noise, so it's not, what we're capturing is the noise of the town, and what we're capturing is the dialogue that happens in between, with these two people. So it's not, we're not looking to lock up anything else. Like I said, it's just kind of the walk and talk down the street.
Right, but for the benefit of our trustees and board members, a boom is
Yeah.
like a long stick with a microphone on it, which
Yes.
kind of will get in the way, right?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, I don't think we want to close the sidewalks, but that is a chunk of people moving up and down the busiest part of Main Street. And, Liz, I want to give you some context that you were here today, right?
Mhm.
Today was rainy and
Yes.
it's early in our season. June, we are at high tourist season, and if it's a beautiful day, the village, even on a Wednesday, has a lot of foot traffic and a lot of cars.
Okay.
Relative to the small space. So, Matt, I don't know if others do. I have concerns about the sidewalk, that stretch of sidewalk.
Um, mm, I mean, they're gonna have somebody there with them, and I think if we put out a notification in the village that this is going on, um, you know,
And people moving freely around. I mean, first of
people
all,
moving
are you
freely around, right? There's the other side of the street if
that's
they
Matt.
choose not to travel through or not to be a part of this. Um, but basically, they're going to be on one side of the road. There's another side of the road. If somebody's, uh, like I said, doesn't want to be involved in this, they can choose the other side of the road. I don't really see it being that big of a deal. And they'll have somebody there if it comes down to it and they need somebody to clear the way.
Right? Liz,
They'll have to have the officer and a PA or something walk up the street ahead of the scene and just make sure that the people are aware of what's going on.
right.
You know what I mean? I I don't. It is June. It's the beginning of summer. The village is going to get heavily populated with visitors. I get that. But I don't think it's something. It doesn't sound like something that's going to hinder this whole thing. I don't think it will. I don't think it will.
Well, if I'm more comfortable with the scenario you're describing. Initially, you were talking about the officer being around, but now you're saying assigning that officer to move with them, and I feel better about that. Liz,
Well, yeah,
are you
that if
hoping?
that officer is there for traffic control, they're going to have that officer assigned to them for the entire thing. Whether
Got
they
it.
need them for traffic control but when they move locations, the officer will move with them. He just doesn't have to be right on top of them the entire time. He could be up or down the street, or like I said, he could, go ahead of what they're doing just to make sure that they have a clean path or that the people that are ahead of that shoot are aware of what's going on. And it would be probably, if that situation was needed, it would be recommended to have either a PA with them or someone to you know either make an announcement or let the people know what's going on. The police officer would just basically be an escort in the event, something happened.
Got it. And Liz, is it your intent, or are you trying to get pedestrians on the sidewalk in the shot? Or how are you dealing with that and consent?
Well, we have we would actually have something called, we would have sandwich boards set up on the sidewalk with you are being filmed consent form. And I can show you what that consent form looks like. But it's basically something that we would normally do with public filming, is basically saying that by walking into this area you are consenting to be put on camera.
Can I ask, so there are businesses that are on this stretch,
Uh-huh.
and so there, I want to make sure that we're not restricting access.
Really, yeah, our intention is not to restrict anybody, literally anyone. Like we're not a big crew, and this is kind of like this scene specifically was really just to capture these two actors walking down the street with as minimal of a crew as possible. And we did not, there's no intention of going into any of these stores. There's no intention of stopping at any of these stores. We really just want to get them walking down the street. So we were not trying to be restrictive onto any of these businesses at all. And would like them to operate and to continue to work and to do the things that they do on a Wednesday afternoon.
I'm going to throw out a slightly different question, but related to Laura's. Normally, when film crews film on our main street and they are potentially capturing the stores,
Mhm.
you get consent from the store owners, right? So they have a visual identity that belongs to them as well.
Right.
And my view is that they should go through the same process that other companies have done.
I think it's tricky. I mean, an entertainment attorney would probably argue that it's incidental to what's going on and therefore okay.
Okay.
But I mean, I think we should check with our council too to see what their position on that is.
And I think also too, and I can confirm this with my directors, that I think we do intend on shooting tight, to the actors, where we're not necessarily going to know where we are. This is just two actors walking down the street. That's who we're focusing on. We're not necessarily focusing on the town.
Could we consider shifting it up Main Street? Like, or at least starting at like Furnace or something? But like further, I just think that we're gonna have like Metro North is gonna come through. There could be like a whole bunch of people unloading or going to the train at that time. It's like the denser part of where there are shops. And if it doesn't matter to you that much, then having it further up would have less interference and less impact.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely relay that to my team.
How many blocks? What kind of either blocks or linear feet? How much space do you think you need for the walking scene?
I mean, I think it would just be like 3 blocks.
Okay.
But also too, I can confirm, and we might be able to do this in 1 block or 2 blocks, by kind of doing maybe some, I would have to confirm with my creative team on exactly how many blocks, but I think 3 was the original ask.
And you're not stopping on the sidewalk, right? You're continually filming from one spot,
Continuously just walking, yes.
and it's a tight shot. I mean, I would recommend, at least sending a notification out to the business owners and maybe even the chamber, just to, in case anybody has any discrepancies with it, they don't, if they don't want it, that'll, then the film company can make an effort to avoid any type of conflict that would come out of it. And if it's a continuous shot, I would, if I were you, I would take Laura's suggestion and move it up Main Street. But I wouldn't totally write off your original location, but I would try to do a dry run at least before you start filming, just to see if it's going to be feasible. And if it's not, then then you have another spot to do it. Because you may have all these plans for the day, and then all of a sudden you get there and you're not going to be able to do what you need to do. You should definitely have some sort of backup for that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And what street did you recommend for us to start on?
Well,
We're right by it
if
up.
you start at, is the point that it's in a commercial district?
Across from garden.
It's really they're walking in a village. It's meant to be they're just kind of walking this small town on their way to a market.
But does it matter to you if they're walking through a residential district or a commercial district?
More commercial.
Hmm.
If you went from like Church or Furnace up to 90, that's 2 blocks. So 3 blocks would be Garden, but I would say go above the restaurants,
Okay.
and like above Cozy Corner, right? And like a lot of those businesses aren't open on Wednesdays,
Mhm.
so it would be quieter.
And that's something we can build into the contract
Okay.
also.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Matt, are there other concerns that you have, questions you want to ask? Oh, we haven't talked about the in-car shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as I mentioned, the camera will be in the car, and there will be an operator who is holding the camera. The camera will not be rigged to the vehicle in any form. It will literally be just the actor, the director, and the DP, in the vehicle. The car will then just drive as normal. It will follow all speed limits and traffic laws. And we'll just, we'll get the footage that we're looking to capture inside of the vehicle. So we're not necessarily worried about what's outside. So we're just looking to, like I said, we'll just take this drive. And basically a loop where we'll exit from the church parking lot. We'll go up and kind of around down Main Street and then back to where our original base camp is. And we would just like to do that 2 or 3 times. And there will, like I said, no camera is rigged outside of the vehicle. The car will go with the speed limit. The car will go, with all traffic laws, and that will be that.
Yeah, because we do have a couple of crosswalks on Main Street.
Yeah, and the car would stop at a crosswalk. It would stop at a red
Okay.
light. It would, we're not looking to blow crosswalks. We would abide by all traffic laws. So.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't seem like it's too big of a concern for me. If it's one, it's going to be just the one vehicle, and everybody's going to be in the vehicle filming in the vehicle.
Just one car. It would be the one actor, the director, and the DP with the camera, and that would be it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like that's going to be that big of a deal. But you'll have, if you need something, you'll have an officer there anyway. If the officer's got to drive in front of you or something, if
Yeah,
you
to
need
do
that,
the follow
you know what I
vehicle.
mean?
Okay.
I don't think it's, it could probably do it anyway. I don't think it's necessary. I'm more concerned with if you need a continuous shot up Main Street rather than stopping at all the crosswalks, that'd be a different story because then we'd have to have people at the crosswalks.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
mean, we never had the intention of doing any of that. We really just
yeah.
wanted to kind of do the driving work, like I said, normally. The car it would stop at a crosswalk, it would stop at a red light, it would stop when there's traffic, it would just abide by all traffic laws. And the camera would just be in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't that doesn't seem like that's gonna we would have any issues with that.
Quickly, Liz, just to go back to your first 2 camera setups,
Yes.
was it going to be on tripod or on the Steadicam?
We would like to do a mixture of both. We have
Okay,
multiple shots there, so.
and then you also mentioned that there would be a gaffer, a grip. I'm not sure if you said electric. So does that
Gaffer
mean
is electric. We would have it's a
I
gaffer.
mean, a gaffer and then an electric, first electric, second electric, whatever?
No,
But
or small
I,
crew.
are you? But does that mean you're going to be setting up flags, lights? And that.
So we do have, as far as exactly what necessary equipment for lighting, as far as I've been told to this point, we would set up a couple of stands with a bounce. I think they want to use as much actual daylight as they can. So I don't foresee us having to use, any big units. Should they want to use it would maybe be one, but I think the fact is that, I think we want to use as much available light as we can. And obviously we would set up stands, one or two stands that have a balance in order to be able to control that sunlight.
But where are
What's
you
the
going
size of those? Sorry, Andrew.
I don't
yeah,
have those. I
hang
don't
on,
have those specs, but I can get them for you.
yeah, it would be
I,
helpful to know where you're going to place them because you have a very restricted site, right? With, I don't know how wide or tight you're shooting, but where are those going to be in relation to the 10, 15 people in the 3 parking spaces and that little thin slice of sidewalk? Where are those? Where are the stands and all of that going to fit in?
Yeah, absolutely. I can get a diagram, or I can get kind of any form of various staging to understand that. But I think we would want to, we're shooting this movie on film, 16 millimeter film, so we're not working with
mm,
big digital cameras or anything like that. Our camera package is very small, so I think at most it would be the camera, it would be a tripod. We would have a camera cart, kind of next to, kind of in our area that would be used for just staging for batteries and whatnot, whatever they might need. And then as far as the lighting setups go. I will have to confirm, with our DP exactly how he wants to light it. So I would have to circle back on exactly what the necessary stands or kind of any of that equipment would be.
I make a suggestion that they come back with exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, that's where I'm about to go next.
Okay.
So we, so
yeah, I would appreciate that as well. There's been a
You
lot
wanna
going on.
let's
you wanna let her
just
repeat?
hold on for 1 second. Just explaining process. The way film permits work is they put in an initial application. We have a conversation as a board to determine whether or not we wish to proceed with this applicant before they go to all of that effort. So my next question is this something that we A, are we comfortable on June 3rd? B, are we comfortable with asking Andrew to come to work with Officer Jackson and Liz to create a contract that reflects the things we've talked about this evening? And then you'll come back to us with a,
And all of that is subject also to assessing what will be a location fee.
Yes.
I hope you have that in your budget, and we'll clarify what that's going to be.
yes, and there are, we do have a commercial duty fee for our officers as well.
Understood. We're prepared to pay for that, so just let us know what the cost will be.
Great.
If that's the case, then I don't think you've received an application fee yet, have you? $100?
Yes.
I did receive
Oh, you did?
$100 application fee from Liz. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you. Okay.
But that is all. We're still waiting for the revised certificate of insurance that reflects the other details that we had discussed. If you could do a sketch of the location site down by the depot, that would be helpful. I think you said you had 2 parking spaces twice and 3 parking spaces once. So
Yeah.
if you can just clarify those details and maybe like draw little dotted lines around the areas that you perceive the lighting will be, or the human beings, that would be great. What else are we waiting for that we've asked for? I think
That workers' comp, we need
we got the workers' comp
the
today,
town agreements and the pet agreement.
the pet wrangler.
Pet wrangler.
That's got to be added to the certificate of insurance.
Yes, and we're awaiting that from our broker. But we have requested it, and we are hoping to get it as soon as possible.
You shot with animals before?
Yes, our production team has. I have as well.
What is your favorite color?
I
Seems
also
to be a
think
connection
that
issue.
that in the agreement, there's some indemnification vis-a-vis child talent.
Yeah.
And use of
And the
animals.
animals,
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm sorry, there was a connection issue.
Andrew is just saying that our contract will include assurance that there is indemnification for both the child actor and the animal actor.
No
Okay.
problem.
So just one more thing, Liz, we still don't have any kind of written confirmation from Mr. Pagonis or from Our Lady of Loretto. And if the the building
I
that
sent screenshots of both of those approvals yesterday,
we need
and
a letter from Mr. Pagonis.
Aren't you executing a location agreement with the depot?
Rich, I just sent before the beginning of this meeting.
Okay.
All right, great. And then, I'm sorry,
Mr. Pagano.
the location across the street that you're planning to film at that we think is 8 Depot Square. That's a residence, so, you know, I think that's important.
It's not occupied as a residence.
On the corner?
Yeah, you're talking
On the
about
ground.
the big building with it's the big building with the siding on the top.
Or the one about the
Yeah,
stone?
it's the white building on the corner.
It's not the north side.
Talking on Railroad Avenue, not on
Yeah.
Main Street.
South side of Railroad, yeah. The one.
Okay, so we'll make a motion, well, let's make a motion, I make a motion that we approve the application in principle pending final negotiations with led by trustee Hall and the officer in charge and dependent on payment of determined fees.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so
Thanks,
Andrew will
Matt.
follow up with you. Matt, thanks for hanging out with us
Yeah,
so
Matt,
late.
thank you.
Thanks for having me tonight. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all very much. Bye.
Matt, what's your bunny's name? I go unmute you.
My bunny's name is Bun Bun.
I think they should call the noodles shop. They're going to open. Bun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to throw him in there. You can make that a stipulation. He needs a IMDb page.
Totally.
Wow, you know about IMDb. Nice. Okay.
Okay, next is an unusual but not impossible request for a baseball clinic at Mayor's Park. Lillian has been dealing with the applicant.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, two gentlemen who were raised here, graduated from Haldane, and both who now work at Haldane, Joe and Tom Bergiadamo, have a company called Twin Athletics, where they hold sports clinics, baseball, basketball, I believe also soccer. They are requesting the use of Mayor's Park for 3 days, June 29th, June 30th, and July 1st, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to hold a baseball clinic for the local youth of the community. When they filled out the application, they unfortunately filled out the non-ticketed application on our website, because the ticketed application, which is used for business ventured events like Hops on the Hudson or the Putnam County Food and Wine Fest, wasn't on the website at the time. So Marjorie and I have been trying to figure out what to charge for a fee, if this is something that we could even do here. The fee that was on the non-ticketed application for the use of both the pavilion for the bathrooms and the fields was $250. Multiplied that by 3, because it's 3 days, and that would be $750. The fee on the ticketed event thing is, and I can't think right now, but the total was going to be $10,500. I went on to Twins Athletics site and looked at how much they usually charge for events like this, and it looks like for a 4-day event they charge about $200 per kid. All right, this is only a 3-day event. They're probably not going to charge $200. But even if they did charge $200, they're only looking at 20 to 30 kids to be there. So if you take 25 kids, that's like $4,000. So I mean, $10,000 thing is what
I spoke with Mr. Bergiadamo today, and he said $120.
So it'd be $120 a kid. Okay. This clinic isn't listed on their site yet.
We haven't had an application like this before, which is why there is a hole in the permitting. This is something that obviously we need to think about and include in our applications. I don't see this as being any different than the British soccer camp that uses, the Phillipstown fields every year. I have no idea what they pay, but the idea of using a public park for a camp, they just need to know that we can't close the park for them. That the park has to remain open to the public. I don't have a problem with the concept. In terms of getting to fee, I mean, we're kind of making it up right now until we get that into the fee schedule. Does anybody have thoughts on the fee?
I think 250 days okay for now until we work something else out.
So 700 total.
Yeah, it's $750,
750.
Even better.
which they've paid and given their $750
Yeah.
deposit for it.
What else are they gonna be there?
They're doing a baseball clinic
Yeah, what hours?
at 9 to 3.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like a useful
Yeah.
resource for families of like place for a kid to go and they can walk there. Like, that's a nice, I know it's not, I know it's kind of, are they for profit? It must be, that's how we're treated.
Yeah, it's an LLC.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay, so it's not a non,
right.
but still, it's,
Right.
seems like an asset for
Yes.
locals.
I don't think they're making a big
Yeah.
profit, but you know.
Would like to make a motion?
And they have all
just-
of the.
one more.
Yeah,
Insurance and all that.
we have the insurance. Unfortunately, the only person who has returned an email about this event to me from my vetting process is Tom Cunningham at Haldane. I have not received any answer yet
Officer
from
Jackson's still on.
Officer Jackson.
Can you hear me? Because my Zoom is going wacky here.
So, did you see my email that I sent the other day about Twins Athletics?
Briefly, yes. Yeah, I saw it.
So do you have any concerns about a baseball clinic from 9 to 3 at Mayor's Park?
I don't see any issue with it. You know, we just got to figure out parking, and that's about it. And use of the fields, like you said, it's a public park. You can't close it down. You know, is that going to be an issue? But as far as any issues from the police department, I don't see any issues with it.
One thing that I'm sure that will come up is the metered parking at Mayor's Park. I mean, I can see giving passes to the two people operating the camp, but I don't think we want to get into passes for parents coming and going, et cetera.
Well, I think I should reach out to Twins to find out exactly, how many coaches or what they're going to have down there. Because if you look at their site, they're also holding another clinic at Haldane, so I don't know, one might be at one clinic and one might be at the other clinic, so.
Okay. Well, let's try to be consistent with what we've done in the past, which is everybody pays parking.
Yeah, that's simple.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve Twin Athletics Baseball Clinic to use Mayor's Park for a clinic from 6:29 to 7/1/26, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. with 20 to 30 kids, at a permit fee of $750, and with the stipulation that the park remains open to the public during the clinic.
Second.
On favor?
Like a stupid question, but the parking down there isn't paid at this point in time, is it?
It is.
It is
The
metered.
sign should be back up. Are they not? Oh, there was work being done on the fence, so Bugsy may have been waiting for the work to be done.
Okay.
They were repairing the snow damage.
I just noticed, you know, that gets pretty well used for the weekends and on the busier days. It's been like a really good spot for people to get extra parking.
Okay.
And I thought that's because it was free.
No, nope. All right, so I'll ask Bugsy to make sure the sign's back up. Excuse me. The last item, I don't just,
Tree pits in here.
yeah,
too.
I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. I just, I don't want to overthink something that can be simple.
Mhm.
Some of the tree pits have been adopted, some people took care of them, some haven't. This has been a recurring challenge every year with complaints, et cetera.
Mm.
The code chapter on streets and sidewalks is silent on tree pits.
Mhm.
There is reference to industries, I think they're called utility strips or tree lawns, but not to the Main Street pits. And there's been disagreement for many years about who actually is in charge of them. Is it the property owner? Is it the village? And they end up being a mess. Tony had recommended that we formulate a policy related to tree pits, and I agree with him that we should do that, and we should probably update chapter 108. But in the meantime, I don't want to get the tree pits to get out of control. So I'm proposing that your proposal be a long-term solution, and that the short-term solution be to tag the existing. I'll go out and tag them. Rugby can come with me. Tag the existing pits as adopted and regularly maintained in one color, planted with spring bulbs, but not otherwise planted, and then not planted or maintained, and then ask for bids on the latter two categories.
That's the best way to do it.
For weeding
Because
and
it's
mulching.
up in the air now.
So, and we budgeted for this, so I'd like to try. I don't know if we can get it done by March 31st. If not, it'll roll into June and our, if it's not done by May 31st, it'll roll into our next year's maintenance money. Discussion. Pretty good. Pretty good with that?
We need the camera back on us.
Oh, well,
I guess, are you done with it?
so would someone like to make a motion on that proposal?
I make a motion to approve the mayor's proposal for Main Street tree pits. Including a plan to bid out work on identified tree pits that are planted with spring bulbs, not otherwise planted, and those that are not.
There's a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I did speak to Nat Prentice from the chamber, who is willing to help with this first stage. Smooth edges. Okay, everyone who's here is now gone. I just, for the public record, I just want to reiterate that the planning process, that the public meetings that happened last week regarding the marathon site were sponsored and hosted by the developer. They were not village events. There is no application yet for the site. The intention of last week was to get feedback on the site, and got plenty. And I wanted to thank everyone who came and who participated in a neighborly and civil way. And I just want to confirm, because there have been some questions, what the process looks like for this parcel going forward. This is no different than any other development in the village. This board is not authorized to act on its own related to this parcel. The zoning board, the planning board, and the HDRB are the review bodies. I certainly have no authority to authorize anything on my own. We all will follow, the boards will follow chapter 134-12, which is the planned unit development code. And I think if you spend some time reading that, you'll see that it's pretty locked down. There are a lot of hoops and thoughtful hoops that project will have to go to before it's ever approved. And there are many process points at which there will be public comment and opportunities to shape outcome. That is all. Do we have bills from someone?
And we're doing a letter.
Oh, yes. Yes, one more item. As a quick thank you, Laura. We're all starting to fall apart. We have, thank you. We have discussed as a board, the county executive is contemplating joining our Article 78 lawsuit as a petitioner. Thank you. He has asked us to write a letter making that request. We discussed that this evening as a board. We did not make decision in executive session. We are making that decision now. Attorney-client session earlier. And so I would like to make a motion to draft and have reviewed by the village attorney a letter sent under my signature on behalf of the board, making the request of the county executive that the county formally join our petition. That is my motion. I'm going to hold for 1 second before we second and say all of this is subject to the review by the Putnam County Legislature. This is the county executive going to the legislature and asking to join our suit. So, and if the legislature is not inclined to do that, the county department heads impacted, particularly BES, the Bureau of Emergency Services, and the Sheriff's Department, are willing to give affidavits in our suit. So, I'm making.
Does the motion need to be made to add this item to the agenda?
We did at the beginning.
You did?
Mhm.
Okay.
So my motion is on the table to approve the drafting of a letter.
Second.
All in favor?
And sending, just to clarify the motion.
Go ahead.
So you will, based on this principle of writing to the county executive, you will work with the village attorney to draft a letter, and we are authorizing you to sign that letter and submit it.
Correct.
Right, okay.
And is the seconder comfortable with Laura's modification?
I second.
Second.
Whatever term is applicable.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding the motion. You're authorizing the mayor to work with our legal counsel
Yes.
to draft a letter and then with board approval.
That we are
With
giving the board
after board
approval.
review
No,
of the letter.
we are
No.
giving the board approval now
Okay.
for the mayor to work with the village attorney to write the letter and sign it and send it. Yeah, that's what we're authorizing.
Write a letter to.
The county executive requesting the county to join our Article 78. As petitioner.
Potential in Article 78 too, right?
Potential Article 78. Thank you. So we have a motion on the table. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Now we have bills.
Hooray.
The voucher, how we sign.
Yeah, we got
You
it.
sign them before the meeting. Then let me bring them in so you
It
can
was
sign
one,
them now.
right?
Did you sign them?
I didn't know.
Okay, please sign them.
It was just one, correct?
We can table this, Marjorie.
No, that's okay. We should. Yeah, you got to check that.
How many are there?
Just
Just one? Okay.
One. It was a whole batch we tabled.
Okey doke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Feels like it.
Okay, is this the one? Oh, I found something.
Currently we have, since off camera, trustee Hall is reviewing this one voucher. Head. Trustee Gardis, as the second member of the audit committee, is reviewing now.
Okay, well, can we make the motion while that is happening?
Would like to make
So now the amount is.
Make a
Oh,
motion to, oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's total,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Make a motion to approve bills batch 8449 in amount of $33,395.30.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Lied. I'll give you 10 minutes.
Do you need to get
We do.
for the next round? All right, motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Night, Mike. Night, Nat.
Hi, Matt, thank you.